Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm here on time today, so don't y'all talk about me. I know it's been a little hectic with me coming on here every Sunday because of all the traveling that I've been doing, but I'm here. So happy Sunday. Good evening. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. I dropped on here. Hi, Stephanie. So, what we're going to be talking about is are you guys ready for the 2025-26 notary client expectations? All right. So I dropped a link in the chat. Go ahead and copy it. You should be able to open that form up so you can fill it out. Okay. Because I want to know what everybody's score falls into. So before I get all up into what I'm talking about today, I am going to introduce myself to those of you who may have not tuned in before, you tuned in for the first time, I am Bergeau. Also, you can also call me Elise. I am the owner of Elise Notary Services, as well as the president and founder of the Notary Education Group. Every Sunday, give or take, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I come on this channel live to talk to you guys about notary and business related topics, discuss some business and notary tips, and answer your questions in real time. All right. If you found the video to be helpful, please share it. Please like it. Other notaries, just like you, definitely want to hear what I have to say. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into what I want to talk about today. I think that makes my screen go black, doesn't it? Let me pull this on over to the side. I got my notes tonight. I know I kind of freeballed it the other night, but not tonight because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. The cat is stuck in here. Is he outside or yeah, get out. Go. Get out. All right. Y'all know how my cats are. All right. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about if you guys are ready. We have clients who they are developing new expectations for us, right? Because you just got too many notaries. They're getting out here, they're trying to quickly make the money and they are not delivering. They're just not. And so it's leaving companies disgruntled. They really don't want to trust us. And this is why they're trying to get their own notaries in office because they're like, we can't trust these outside notaries. The only thing they worried about is making money. They're not worried about our bottom line, customer satisfaction, document turnaround times. That they don't care. And this is being said. I am hearing this, I am seeing this, and I am concerned because I tell y'all all the time, like, you need to be paying attention to how you are rendering services. We can't just be out here, I'm a notary, I'm going to sign and stamp your document. It's more to it than that, okay? Because as soon as you don't notarize a document the way it's supposed to be notarized, what happens? Deadlines get missed, funding can't be done, customers are ticked off, etc. Okay. And if the people who've been working on that transaction for months can't get it done and you've only just got a hold of it within an hour, I'd be ticked off too. All right. Because now I'm not going to get my money. So, anywho, tonight we're going to talk about how client expectations have shifted and what modern notaries must do to keep up. All right. Now, y'all going to see me turning, doing like this because I got my script over here. And then if I try to put it here, I think it was black on my screen. So what we're going to talk about tonight are the 6 expectations every client now has. Ron, e-notes, ID verification and automation, the transparent pricing and policy framework. All right, we need to have that. And then I'm going to have you guys do a self-assessment readiness scorecard. That is the link that I dropped into the chat. Please copy it, open it up in another tab so you can see it. And we want to map out your 30, 60, 90-day modernization roadmap. All right. And I know y'all get tired of me talking about goals, but look, if you don't have nothing to work towards, what are you working for? Okay. So let's go ahead and nip this in the bud. Clients are no longer comparing you to other notaries. Are you surprised to know that? What they are comparing you to, though, is Amazon, Calendly, and Apple Pay. Are you ready for that? All right. Now, if you are hearing that and you're like, girl, what are you talking about? Go ahead and drop in the chat because I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. Now, as far as Amazon goes, speed and availability. Okay. Can you provide a service same day? Do you have after hour options? Do you have instant scheduling capability? Because when people need a notary, they want to know that they can go and book you and that's it. Because they got so much other stuff going on. So they don't have time to call you, email you, wait for you to respond to an email. Long gone are those days, guys. Okay. Furthermore, people not answering phones, people not responding to emails, or this is a it's probably not a new thing, but what's been happening lately is if you're getting emails from people that you never receive emails from, it goes into your junk. How many people are checking their junk folder on a regular basis? Okay. So if you are getting their email and it's getting lost, then you're not going to respond, right? And now they're trying to find another notary because they can't get a hold of you. Very annoying. So the reason why I compare that to Amazon is because how often has this happened to you where you order something from Amazon and you expect to get it within the 2, 3 day period, and when it don't come, you're frustrated, right? You're trying to figure out who can you contact. I need my money back, all this stuff, and you need to order it again, only to wait again for it to come. Very annoying, right? So the Amazon motto though is if you're a prime person, you're gonna get your stuff like same day, 1 day, 2 days. You know this for sure. This is what clients are looking for. They want to know I scheduled this notary for this day at this time, and I know maybe an hour or two after that time on that day, I'm going to get my documents back. They're either going to send a confirmation that they mailed it, or if it's an online notary, I know that I'm going to be getting the notification that they uploaded it to the portal or that they emailed it to me. This is what clients are expecting. And notaries are not doing it. And not only are notaries not doing it, but notaries are frustrated that they have this expectation. So yeah, but you want to get paid $250 for the appointment. Yeah. Next, Calendly, digital convenience. Okay. They want to know that you have some type of appointment portal. All right. And not only that, what if their customer can't meet somebody locally? Do you have remote online notary capability? Is that something you can do? How about in-person electronic notary? So that way I don't have to wait for you to ship my documents. You can meet with the person in person, sign digitally, and email me the finished documents and copy of the ID. Do you have that capability? Not in every state, I know, right? But if you do, is this something that you are offering as an option? Because more times than not, the notary is not just performing the role of the notary. You are being the troubleshooter, you are being the courier, you are sometimes being the knowledge base. Because I'll give you guys a perfect example. I had a client who the customer was having an issue with passing the knowledge base authentication questions. Okay. And so they're like, well, can we just reschedule it, because he failed the KBA twice? Can we just reschedule it for another day? I said, well, the thing is, it doesn't matter how many times they do the KBA. It was an issue with the person's capacity to be able to answer the questions in the allotted time, right? So it gives you 2 minutes to answer 5 questions correctly, I believe, right? The person just couldn't do it within that time frame. So it didn't matter how didn't matter how many times we redid the KBA, they're going to fail it time and time again. And so I told them, am I allowed to use a platform where we can just bypass the KBA and do biometrics? Because by me being a Florida remote online notary, this is something I can do. And I'm like, but the platforms you have listed, I can't use, but I can use the one, but the one, it will be an upcharge. And so they're like, yeah, the lender is really picky. They want, or I think it was escrow. Escrow is really picky. They want these specific platforms to be used. Can you use this platform and what will be the upcharge? I told them what the upcharge would be. They said, fine, let's do that just to get it done. Okay, no problem. I was able to get the person on. They kept dropping connection. So we connected about 4 different times before we were finally able to complete the actual signing online. So I was able to bypass KBA. I used a platform that they prefer and they paid me extra money as I requested, and it got done. So instead of me telling them, hey, I can't do it, you guys are going to have to find somebody else to do it. I don't have time for this. I worked with the customer. The customer was happy. His wife even called, like, thank you so much for your patience and working. I'm like, yeah, no problem. It was a deed signing. So it wasn't like something very difficult. And we got it done. And I got compensated for what I requested and I gave them what they wanted. So the expectation was to have it done. I completed it. Instead of me just saying, forget this, I'm not doing this. No. So yeah, they expect that. And when you exceed their expectations, what does that do? That puts you on their list for preferred. So whenever that client, as a matter of fact, I did another one for that client today. So now I'm on that client's radar. Whenever we need something done, make sure y'all send us over to Bergeau first. If Bergeau's not available, then you can get me somebody else. See what I'm saying? So digital convenience worked in my favor. Okay. And then another one, transparency. Okay. Clear pricing fees, travel, witness policy, knowing what your witness policy is, and then being able to do a reschedule. I had a customer have to reschedule this week, as a matter of fact. And I was able to check my schedule and I actually fit them in. I didn't have availability, but I went ahead and fit them in to my schedule and was able to get it done. And it was easy for the client to just keep me and just reschedule for a time where I was available. Okay. Because they're like, we already know that she's going to get it done. I kid you not. You know, you have to be transparent. Speed and availability. They want that. Digital convenience. They want that. We're in a digital world, guys. And if you have the capability, this is something that you want to be able to offer. It used to be where I had 80% of my signings were online. I've gotten now where 90% of my signings are online. I have no doubt that come next year is probably going to be 95. And the reason why I'm not saying 100 because there are still some lenders who prefer wet signatures, which means that they want me to print out the documents, travel to the client, or I'm sorry, the customer, have them apply wet signatures to the documents. All right, it's probably never going to be 100%. But I sit here on my computer most of the day. I think I had 3 signings outside the house last week for the whole week. 3. Majority of them online. Okay. I've even had to educate a client because I do see sometimes you guys complain about that. Like, well, don't they know this? No, they don't really. They hear about it and they don't really know. Okay. So the one where the person couldn't do the ID, they're like, well, can we just do credible witness? No, I'm sorry, it was for the KBA. The person kept failing the KBA. Can we just do credible witness then for that? I said, well, no, that's not how credible witness works. So credible witness is for ID purposes. So if the person was not able to provide an ID, then we would use credible witness to validate that this person is who they say they are, and it would be a sworn statement from that credible witness. But one, Florida, we can't use credible witness online. 2, credible witness cannot do the KBA for the signer. That's not how that works. And so they're like, oh, okay, we didn't know that. Thanks for the information. You're welcome. So instead of me getting frustrated, I just educated them. And this is why it's super important for you to know your state statutes and laws. Know what you can and cannot do. Now, what if I didn't know that Florida couldn't do credible witness? What if I didn't know the credible witness couldn't do the KBA for the signer? I would have went through with it, and that whole transaction, had it been challenged later on down the line, I could lose my commission for that, simply because I didn't follow the state laws. I just did what they said because I'm like, oh, well, they must know what they're talking about. No, most times they don't. And this is why you can be the notary that's preferred, because if you know what you're talking about, they're going to want to use you, because now that takes the guesswork out of them trying to figure out what it is that we're supposed to do. We know, we're supposed to know. They just use us because they know that they need documents notarized. It's our job to know what we can do as the notary in our state. And every state is different. So don't get mad if you have, I'm trying to think, the company that hired me, a California company, trying to figure out what Florida notaries can do, because what California notaries can do and what Florida notaries can do are totally different. All right. Yeah, we're all verifying IDs and signing documents and stamping them, but there are particular things as a notary that we can do that they can't do, and that they can do that we can't do. All right. So let's keep on going. Proactive communication is number 4. So 1 was speed and availability, 2 was digital convenience, 3 was transparency, 4 is proactive communication. Don't just assume that they know everything that you're doing with the customer or what the customer has done. You always want to communicate. And I've sometimes gotten, um, I won't say in trouble for that, but I've sometimes made people mad by that, because I'm moving so fast and sometimes I'll forget that I need to communicate to them what's going on so that they know. Like, for example, if you're at a signing and the customer has a question about documents, and you call, like, the title company or the lender to get the answer to the question, and then we didn't do something that the company that hired us expected us to do with the documents. So now we send the document back. Why is this document not filled out and signed? Oh, I forgot to let you know that we called and asked about this document, and they told us that we didn't have to. So now, because they didn't hear it from the title or lender, now they have to call the title or lender and ask them, did you tell the notary to do this? Was this okay? When all you had to do was communicate. Proactive communication would have not had you run into that situation, because now they may not want you to drop the documents. And if they don't hear back from the customer, they may tell you to go back and do it anyway. And then if they didn't want it, they could discard this document. So now you got to do a wasted trip. It's just too much. It's too much. So communicate with the hiring party if there's going to be anything different from what they expected of you when it comes to the documents. Okay. Next, compliance and security. All right. Please know the difference between, if you're doing online notary, you need to know the difference between KBA, biometrics. You need to know what an audit trail is. When you are doing real estate signings, especially if you're doing anything that includes a deed, they may want the audit trail. You need to know what the audit trail is. Okay, so you won't say to them, well, I gave you the signed documents and the IDs. What are you talking about? Why do you need the audit trail? Because sometimes they do need the audit trail in order to record the deed with the county. You need to know what that is. All right. And not only that, you need to make sure you have secure storage. Okay. So if you did download the documents, don't just leave them sit on your computer. Like, at the end of the day, every day, after I've gotten everybody their completed documents, I delete everything off my computer. But what if I needed to retain it? I have a secure storage solution for that, and that's within Zoho One. That's why I love Zoho One. It has everything that I need to run my business. All right, it has a work drive that is secure, password protected. Nobody can get into it. Okay. And lastly, number 6 is accessibility and professionalism. Okay. Plain language explanations. All right. We do not need to overwhelm our customers with a lot of jargon. Okay, they really, and I get it. Some people feel like if they use that jargon and that legal terminology, that's going to make them look better. But all it does is confuse people. So always know what you're talking about, but be able to explain it in plain language. Okay, just plain language. The customer doesn't know anything about the terminology that we use with the title and escrow and lenders. So plain language. All right. And then an inclusive service. I tell you guys this all the time. Just doing notary is cool. But if your customers can come to you for an all-inclusive service, that makes you the more preferred option over other notaries that they may work with. I do language translation, document translation, apostles. I have clients come to me, get the documents translated, notarized, apostle, all in one package. I even had someone call me for a courier, and I'm still waiting for people to message me and let me know that they offer the service because I want to make sure that I'm able to offer that to my clients as well. Having everything that you can offer them and them not having to go elsewhere to find it, it's gonna make you the preferred choice, guys. I'm trying to help y'all out. I really am because I feel that people just like to complain sometimes because there's so many different things that you can do as a notary. There's so many different ways that you can profit from just being a notary with other services. And you really are not taking advantage of it. And I don't know if it's, I won't say it's because you don't know, because I talk about it so much, you guys know now. It could be laziness. It could be just the fact that you really aren't as serious about being a notary as you claim to be. And I can't help you with that. So, but yeah. So let's go to the scorecard. I hope that you have downloaded it. Let me pull it up. All right. So I want everyone on that first page, I want you to score yourself on the different items. And I want you to drop into the chat what your score is. Okay. We're only going to focus on the chart there. 0 is not in place. 1 equals in progress. 2 equals fully implemented. Okay. I want you guys to drop your score into the chat and then we're going to talk about it. Let me find my other page. Now, for those of you who are not watching me live, if you end up having to do this after the fact, I still want you to comment under this video what your score was so that I can give you some insight. Okay. And let me see. I'm going to put in here what the scoring means, just in case I'm busy and I can't respond to your comment. All right, you should be able to see in the chat here. Scoring. So if your score equal 0 to 7, you're at risk and clients can feel the friction. If you score 8 to 14, you're competitive, but tighten your automation and policy clarity. And then 15 to 20 scores means you're future ready. Now all you got to do is invest in branding and scale from there. Okay. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to continue on. So when you get done with that, let me go to back to the chart. You have a 30, 60, 90-day modernization plan that I have just given you guys for free. Okay, because you know I do that all the time. Use this worksheet and check off the different things that you can do. Next 30 days, we want to build stability and clarity. The next 60 days, convenience and compliance. And then within 90 days, scale and differentiation, right? Because if you want to get work, you have to give people a reason why they should work with you. I've given several different reasons why people should work with me, and they all agree. You can read my reviews that everything that I offer is the real deal, Holyfield. Okay, so that's what helps me stand out, and that's what makes people want to work with me. Not only that, customer service. Customer service nowadays suck. Okay, can anybody else contest to that? Uh-oh. All right, Stephanie gave me a score. So Stephanie scored a 20, which means that she is future ready. Now all she have to do is invest in branding and scale from there. And I think because I follow her that she's already starting to do that anyway, or has been doing it. So good for you, Stephanie. Way to go. She said she scored an 18. I can't wait to see where everyone else's score is. But yeah, customer service is a big deal. I know that not every platform that you sign up with will show you what other people are rating you as, but that's just even more reason for you to keep your delivery high. Okay, you want to always offer exceptional service, even to those customers that are not easy to work with, because I get it. Sometimes they are frustrated with how the processes went, and by the time they get to us, they are just done. Like, stick a fork in me, I am done. So they may be giving you the attitude, and you have nothing to do with it. I tell you, I had one customer this week. Was it one or two? I'm gonna tell you about the one because I remember this specifically. He was so upset because something happened to where the deed didn't get recorded on a property that was sold a year ago. And these people, they done moved out of state, they doing whatever. And the house that was sold, the person who bought the house from them needed to sell it again, but they couldn't because technically the deed was never in their name. Something happened. So these people were peed off. So when I called, they were ready to give it to me. And I told them, wait, what? So when they send you over to me, they only tell me that these documents need to be notarized. They don't tell me why. They don't tell me the backstory. They just tell me we have a client that needs a document notarized. Here's the document. Here's the client's information. So they kind of got a little better, like, okay, well, I apologize, but let me tell you what happened. I'm like, okay. They told me the story. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of messed up, but hopefully we can get this signed for you and you guys can go on with life and so their witness though was one of the representatives. So the representative got on and they were ready to give it to the representative. And I said, well, hold on, because one of the people said that they're working. They literally have 3 minutes to get this done. So if you guys continue, I can't continue and get this done so that this person can get back to what they need to do. And so they stopped, like, okay, let's just get this signed. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I whipped through it. We did that deed signing. They were done. The other person wanted to say something to them. They disconnected. I'm like, all right, well, bye everyone. And just disconnected it. So you still have to be professional and explain to them, I was not a part of everything that was going on. I am just the end game and what is going to make this process final for you. And so once you explain that, I promise they're like, they may not, be nice to you, but they'll at least close their mouth and let you do your job. All right. So I think that was all I wanted to talk about. I did want to ask you guys a couple of questions. I see we have 5 people watching, but only Stephanie is the one responding. So um, I'm going to ask the question. So tell me in one word, what frustrates your clients the most? While you're answering that question, though, I do want to tell you that I saw in one of my clients' instructions that they do not want to work with notaries who do the point and sign method anymore. They do want you to be able to give a, excuse me, brief description to the signers of the documents that they're going to be signing. And so I do encourage you guys to brush up on some of the names of documents and memorize the description of them. Especially if you are signing a lot of the same documents like I do. I sign a lot of the same documents over and over and over again. So I literally know them all. And all you really have to do to learn what the document is read it. Read the document. So that way you will have a brief description. You can tell it to the signer. The signer most times will say, oh, okay, it's fine. If they do want more information, you can continue to read the document to them. And most times they'll be like, oh, okay. Or if they say, well, what does all that mean though? You know, I can read it to you again, but I cannot interpret the information for you because, if I tell them something wrong, I can get in trouble for that. Stephanie said punctuality. Yes. And you want to know why that is the number one complaint? Because even when you do have notaries who are getting the business, they are booking more appointments than they actually can handle in a day. And so, what does this do? It makes you look good in the books, on your books, but on their end, you leave a customer disgruntled because they're looking like, why didn't you drop these documents off? Well, I had two signings right after this one. I didn't have time. They don't want to hear that. They don't care. You should make enough time in between appointments to where if these documents need to be dropped off and you know that your next two appointments is going to make it to where you're going to miss the last drop, then you have to make a decision. And sometimes that means that you may have to be late to that next appointment just to go drop off. What I try to do is when I finish a signing and I'm cleared to drop, I try to find a FedEx or UPS that's going to be close to where I'm going so I can drop that, get my receipt, and head on to my next appointment. And what I tell my customers is I'm just calling to let you know I may be a little late because my last appointment ran over. It took them a little longer than it usually would take. And most times my customers appreciate the call. And I don't wait until after I left the appointment. If I see that this appointment is going to finish later than it was supposed to, and that I have to do something else after this and then get to my next appointment, that's called time management. And we have to be good with that. If you expect to get clients and handle a large amount of appointments every day for the week, then you have to be really good at managing your time. And yes, this does mean that you have to allot enough time in your schedule for things that's not supposed to happen. So instead of me making my appointments an hour in between, I do an hour and a half now. So this appointment will take me up to an hour to do. No, it may not take me an hour to sign the documents, but think about the in between time. Getting your things out your bag, getting the ID. What if they couldn't find their ID? Now they're, oh, I had it. Oh, I put it in my car. Oh, I left it in the car. Now we're waiting on that. I got to pre-fill out my journal. I'm getting the pens and stuff together. After that, that take a whole 10 minutes. 10 minutes just for me to get there, them to clear off a space for us to sit, me to take my things out of my bag, them to get their ID, do my journal, and now we're signing. So that's 10 minutes for the prep. And now we're signing. That may take 20 to 45 minutes. Now we're looking at an hour. You see how fast that can go? That hour goes really quick. And it does depend on how many documents and how many signers. If you got one signer, those appointments go so quick. But if you have a signing where you have multiple people, I had a signing where I had 5 people signing and two of them couldn't see. So I'm there for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So, but this is when you got to start managing your time. All right, I'm noticing it's taking a little longer. Let me call the next person. Luckily, that 5-person signing was my last appointment for the day. But what if it was my first? It would have kind of threw my whole schedule off. So this is why punctuality is important. And it's also the number one complaint because people value their time. They got stuff to do. They don't have time to be waiting on you. Okay. Now, now that I have talked to you guys about how you want to prepare, which one of these are you going to implement? If you're not already, what are you implementing next? Around an iPen, a transparent pricing page, automated reminders and prep emails, or a witness and reschedule policy? Let me know in the comments. And then that's it, guys. That is all I have for you guys this evening. Thank you guys for joining me. Stephanie, as usual, thank you for being an active participant. I know that I'm going to have a lot of comments, for people who weren't able to tune in because I know people got to work in the morning. I do want to try to change the time. It's just really hard because when I'm working during the week, my schedule can be so unpredictable and I close at 8. So if when 8 o'clock come, I'm pooped. Okay. Almost every day last week, I had 5 to 7 appointments every day. So when 8 o'clock came, I didn't want to talk to nobody but my bed. So it's really hard. You are welcome, Stephanie. It's really hard to try to come and talk to you guys during the week because it's too much going on. So, and Saturdays is my day to kick it with my family. I didn't even get home last night until late, so I would not have been able to talk to you guys. But I don't know, maybe Sunday I can think about maybe doing something earlier in the day because I have been having people say, I really want to join your live, but I can't do 8:30 at night. I'm getting ready for bed. So I get it. And that's why I have to answer all of the comments and posts after the fact the next day. So, hey, Sharina, given I'm newly commissioned yet to receive my stamp, Ron looks my next step. Okay, well, good for you, Sharina. Ron is really where it's at. I won't take away from the in person because you do want to make sure that you know how to sign documents in person because when you get online, you have to do the same thing with more steps. So absolutely. But Ron is, let's see, Patrice said, good evening, just hopped on. Where did you get your portable scanner from? I got my portable scanner from Best Buy. It is the Epson Workforce ES200, I believe. It does have auto feed, and you can feed up to, I think, 20 pages at once scanning. And I love it. It fits right in my bag, so I don't have to bring anything extra with me. So, yeah, guys, like I said, I think that I'm going to try to do Sunday mornings so that I can make sure that you guys are able to. I don't know when I'm going to change it. It may be something I change this year. It may be something I change next year, but I will absolutely let you guys know in advance. You are welcome, Patrice. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to sign off. Everyone have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you guys again next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night.